In 2024, we observed significant climate events that emphasize the continued need for effective climate monitoring and predictive systems. From the El Nino phenomenon impacting agricultural yields to the danger of more powerful typhoons that threaten lives and property, the importance of climate science has never been more essential in informing our responses. To learn more about the state of climate trends in the Philippines, especially in 2024, and how this data can help us develop strategies to reduce climate risks, we have via Zoom is the Chief of the Climate Monitoring and Prediction Section of PAGASA, Ms. Lisa Solis. Magandang umaga po. Thank you very much for joining us.
Yes, good morning and good morning everyone to all those who listen to this program. Good morning everyone.
All right, Ms. Ana, let's take a look first at the current climate status of the Philippines as of 2024. Looking at this, a lot of people have been worried about climate change in general. Are there any notable shifts in weather patterns in the Philippines compared to previous years?
Well, based on monitoring and prediction of DOST PAGASA, so our country's climate in 2024 showed very remarkable events that eventually led to extreme climate events due to the occurrences, of course, of this strong El Nino in the first half of 2024, while La Nina-like conditions significantly impacted our weather patterns during this last portion of the year. So some notable events include record-breaking heat extremes, high heat index, dry spells, and droughts during strong El Nino episode, and then heavy rainfall events that led to floods, rainy-induced landslides with some adds in tracks of marching tropical cyclones in the last quarter of this year. This has caused very significant damages and also loss on those areas affected by those extreme events.
Well, we've seen quite a few of
Mm,
them, po, but at the same time, are these
mm,
shifts that we've seen in terms of the
mm,
frequency and intensities just unique in 2024 compared to our recent
mm.
years?
Hmm. Compared to last year and also in some previous years, before the pandemic, for example, during the before pandemic, so there had been significant shifts in the intensity of extreme weather and climate events such as marching typhoons. So we had a series of typhoons. We experienced seven typhoons at a span of 29 days, typhoons and super typhoon category. So we had seven combined number of typhoons and super typhoons out of these 17 tropical cyclones so far this 2024. And three of these cyclones were rain-bearing. Added to this were the enhanced southwest monsoon activities as well, and also the combined effects of the cyclones. And this is what has happened during the passage of Aghon, Karina, Christine, and also the Shearline as well. And perhaps during the warm and dry season months of our March and April and May in 2024, so we had experienced extreme heat and high heat indices. So added to these are the occurrence of dry spells and drought as well, which are comparable with the previous years of strong El Nino episode that was in 1997 and 1998,
Mhm.
and also the 2015-2016 El Nino episode.
Ms. Ana, that just reminds me of the fact that there have been a few reports, have been a few studies talking about not
Mm,
necessarily yung increasing frequency po ng mga extreme climate events, but then
mm.
the intensity ramping up. Like it could be fewer events, but then the intensity is more felt. Is that something that we're seeing of a trend after 2024?
Yes, so looking at the historical data as well as what is happening this year in 2024, so there's still increasing trend of intense typhoon becoming more frequent. But there is also a decreasing trend in terms of number of tropical cyclones that
Mhm.
could affect our country in a year. So during the previous years, recently, we didn't reach the average of more than 20 tropical cyclones in a year. So last year we have lesser, and now we only have 17 tropical cyclones. So there is a decreasing trend in number of tropical cyclone, but in terms of increasing trend naman in more of intense tropical cyclone events.
Mhm. Ma'am, what are the climate trends that you are expecting that would carry over from 2024 into
Mhm.
2025? And how will that shape yung mga projections ninyo, especially in the
Mhm.
early parts of the new year?
Mhm. So 2024 could be the warmest years or one of the warmest years of our country. So of course, we have to consider all of our observations for 2024 in order to fully assess our temperature trend as well as our rainfall patterns. But looking at historical climate events, this 2013 to 2024 decade could be the warmest decade of our country. So this is could be one. And then also in terms of rainfall, first half or the first semester of 2024, our rainfall being influenced by strong El Nino could be one of the dry season, while our second semester rainfall in July to December could have some record-breaking extreme rainfall events as well.
Can you tell us a bit
Mhm.
more about your organization in particular, po? Because we understand that there are some challenges collecting climate data in the Philippines, particularly in remote or hard-to-reach areas. Could you give us a bit of a status on
Mm.
the capabilities
Mm.
to actually collect climate data dito sa Pilipinas?
Yeah. So we have the network of observing stations, both manned and unmanned stations, which are strategically located in our country, as well as network yung Doppler radars natin that give us the quantitative rainfall estimates as well. So mga sophisticated and advanced satellite receiving facilities, we also have that. Although there are Doppler radars that are not fully functional right now, such as those Doppler radar that was hit by an earthquake last year, and some ongoing upgrades and rehabilitation, ang challenging dito is yung how to get and obtain yung mga spare parts of these radars which are beyond our control. But despite that, pag-asa see to it that this will not affect our observations and forecasts or they are redundant Doppler facilities naman. So, ibig sabihin walang mga blind sites pa rin when it comes to observing our sky.
You know, there was a lot of talk about the capability of PAGASA in terms of climate monitoring in helping inform the national climate policy and, of course, disaster risk management strategies in the Philippines. Could you tell us about, first of all, the shortcomings that need to be addressed in your opinion, and of course, the strengths that we have and the importance of this role
Mm.
in particular in
Mm.
addressing
Mm.
national policies?
Mm. Yes, so in terms of policy formulation, in my opinion, and also policy recommendations both at the national, local, and internal to DOST PAG-asa, I think PAG-asa had made significant progress in this field. So for instance, because of the National El Nino or La Nina alert and warning system, so the executive order number 53 that was signed last January 2024 by our president BBM. So it paved the way to the reconstitution and reactivation of the Task Force El Nino in order to come up with sectoral action plans and strategies to mitigate or lessen the impacts of El Nino, at least up to the LGU level. So this LGU level gave them the direction and help on what to do before, during, and after El Nino. And also the timely provision of forecast and warnings during the tropical cyclone occurrences, itong mga sunod-sunod na mga bagyo na naranasan natin, including heavy rainfall events and flood warnings and advisories. So it helped the national government, concerned agencies, and LGUs, and even our whole community prepare for this weather event. So I think we have done significant progress in this type of uh, policy formulation and recommendation by taking proper actions by our concerned agencies as well as our communities.
Ma'am, what do you feel are the key challenges that PAGASA faces in helping build resilience, especially in communities that are frequently
Mm.
affected by extreme weather events? Simply
Mm.
because there are moments wherein some of the communities that are hit often are not, have only very little time to really react. Again, this is a function of yung mga wind signals po natin. Minsan the time
Mm.
frame is not big enough. But then, what are the other challenges
Mm.
that you feel PAGASA
Mm.
faces with regard to that?
Yeah, I think in terms of science communication, so where our forecasts, warnings, and advisories can be delivered in a timely manner and wherein the community could fully understand and act, take action, or respond accordingly. Yung calibrated actions ba to minimize their risk for their safety. For example, kapag binigay ng PAGASA tropical cyclone wind signal number 1, ang sasabihin ng mga tao ay mali ang PAGASA kasi signal number 1 ang taas-taas ng init ng araw. Wherein signal number 1, it means for you to be prepared in the next 36 hours. So that is why it's a warning for
Mhm.
you to be prepared for the next 36 hours. So hindi mo pa talaga makikita yung talagang possible na effect ng signal number 1 because it's a warning. So you need to be prepared and you have lead time to prepare for their 36 hours. So those type of simple communication and understanding and provide those forecast warnings wherein they could understand and act accordingly. So I think yun yung very challenging sa pag-asa right now.
Ma'am, you mentioned it a while ago, yung education and maybe even the communication are probably the gaps that can be improved on when informing all of these affected communities. Is that going to be one of the main thrusts in 2025 for PAGASA in terms of making sure that the general public, the communities that are affected especially, will be able to understand lahat ng mga sinasabi ng PAGASA po?
Yes, definitely. Definitely. So we have lots of information education campaign being done both at the national, regional, and even up to LGU levels. Even our teachers, science teachers in yung ating mga schools. So we have lots of IET activities being done regularly and also in collaborative activities with LGUs, civil society organizations, and also private sectors. We also have this big project with the DOST, PAGASA, Project Maghanda, Handa Pilipinas, and also we are conducting the National and Regional Science and Technology Week, wherein pumupunta tayo sa mga bawat region of the national and regions and provinces as well. So aside from that, we have this regular conduct of monthly climate outlook forums where we could provide weather updates, flood updates, as well as outlook for the next 6 months. Ilan yung mga bagyo na darating. And also, yung talagang pati yung even yung mga media seminar natin. So we are conducting those types of education campaign. But then still very challenging kasi ang pinag-uusapan natin dito ay 100 millions of Filipinos na kailangan maunawaan at maintindihan ang aming mga binibigay na mga babala.
Absolutely right po. Thank you very much for joining us, Ms. Ana Solis from PAGASA. We've worked with you a lot in 2024 and we cannot wait to have more conversations with you come the new year. Maraming salamat po. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good morning.